Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news, updates, debates and my opinions, the English Supercup champions. That's the channel you're on. I hope you've all had a very good Monday. You know, just ongoing celebrations after yesterday's magnificent win. I hope you're all well. Simon Robson, thank you very much for the kind comments. Eli, good to see you. Vivi Vlad, London is red, Arsenal is great. Joshua Manway, William Saliba, Young Star, and MM, good to see you. So lots to get into today. Obviously, we'll have reaction to yesterday's game, updates on Turner and Raya, an update on Balogun, quite a big update on Balogun, Mohamed Kudus, it might not all be over yet. And I want to talk a bit about Bradley Barcola, who someone in the channel, I can't remember who, alerted my attention to Bradley Barcola, and maybe a move to Arsenal is on the card, so we'll get into that as well. But first of all, we will talk about yesterday's game. I was there. I don't know if any of you were there. I hope if you were, you enjoyed it. It was, I'll tell you one thing. Arsenal's support compared to Man City's was unbelievable. Someone's asked on TikTok what block I was in. I was in block 517. I was in block 517. But yeah, the difference in support was unbelievable. Genuinely didn't hear Man City in the entire game, apart from when they were celebrating their goal. And even then, it was kind of like you could hear a round of applause from the other end of the stadium. So that was very good to see. It was a good atmosphere, and it was just a great day. It was a great day, a great performance, and I think we learned a lot of things from that performance. The first of all, and this is the major thing, we will compete with Man City again this season. That game, I have no doubt, we are going to compete with Man City again this season. And look, one interesting thing to take from it is our side was further away from what you'd argue was our best starting 11 than Man City's was. Man City, realistically, other than Ederson and De Bruyne, was their best starting 11 for this season. They only had one new player in Kovacic, who was playing in his normal position. Whereas obviously Arsenal had Timber at left back, Declan Rice playing the 8, which he's not done much of before, and Kai Havertz playing up top, which he has done before, but not for us and wasn't necessarily what he was brought in to do. So I do think that that's interesting. Now, yeah, they can say that they're 2 weeks behind in their pre-season or whatever, but ultimately we went toe-to-toe with them. I thought a draw was a fair result. On the balance of the whole game, I thought a draw was the fair result. I thought we had the better of the chances in the first half. They probably had the better of the chances in the second half. And a draw was fair. And ultimately, we absolutely smashed them in the penalty shootout. We beat them 4-1. And I tweeted, there was an interesting thing today. It came from AFC James on Twitter, who a lot of you might know, who's doing a dissertation, actually, on penalty shootouts, which sounds quite fun. But one of the things was the amount of time it takes from the referee blowing his whistle to the player beginning their run-up. And with Arsenal players, it was around 6 or 7 seconds. And with the City players, it was like just over 1 second. Like, he'd blow their whistle and they'd pretty much immediately go into it. And there's some psychology behind that in terms of rushing to get your penalty taken. But either way, we've been practicing for a long time, according to Aaron Ramsdale. So we've been practicing them for 2 years. And it paid off. Vivi Vlad, Vieira is just elite at pens, top bins every time. Apart from the United game, where it was top row of the stadium. But look, it was fantastic. Reese, Sean, Tom, good to see you. MUFC fans as well. Kudus is going to Brighton. We'll talk about that because he might not be. He might not be. Haaland's father with some banter after his son drops a stinker. Look, the way Saliba dealt with Erling Haaland, and not just Saliba, right? So obviously Saliba gets the main plaudits, and he absolutely deserves them because he was unbelievable. But Ben White put a massive shift in as well to help him out. And of course, Ben White was also dealing with Jack Grealish. So I thought both of them were fantastic. I thought the whole team, to be honest, played really, really well. Be serious, they played Ortega. They play Ortega in every cup competition. They play that. That's not, that's not them not taking the game seriously because they play Ortega in every cup competition. I'm fairly sure he played in the FA Cup final. It's pretty normal for him. Rory, all the salty Man United fans who wanted to play in the Community Shield for being the League Cup champions are also the same people who call the Community Shield a dinner plate. Look, there's lots of people saying it's a friendly, it's a dinner plate, it's this, that and the other. You were all sat at home watching it, weren't you? That glorified friendly that on your Sunday afternoon you were all sat at home watching. So, look, ignore them. They're jealous. It's the English Supercup. Vieira could pick a spot, passes and crosses, needs to explore that more. Look, I thought, when he and Smith Rowe came on, I thought they made a difference. And interestingly, we reverted to a sort of formation that we've not really seen before. When they came on, so we kind of had Fabio Vieira was playing off the right wing. Saka almost moved into a right forward, with Nketiah as a left forward, and Trossard playing off the left wing, and then Smith Rowe kind of tucked in behind them with Ødegaard, which was very attacking, and it ended up working really well. And there was some nice play between all of them. So it was good to see that happen. We didn't panic, which shows elite mentality. I agree. Look, that's a big mental win. Ramsdale even acknowledged it himself in the interview after the game, that it was good to get that mental block of beating Man City out of the way. Now, look, arguably we didn't beat them. I know we lifted the trophy. In the 90 minutes it was a draw. But there are so many positives to take away from it. And I was reading a thing just now that apparently Declan Rice is actually only at about 75%. You know, when he missed that game during pre-season because he took a knock to the calf, it effectively actually took nearly 2 weeks out of his pre-season build-up. So he's at about 75%, and he's playing in a position that he's not really played much before. And he said yesterday in his interview, the amount that he's learned under Arteta already is unbelievable. So as Rice grows into the season, I mean, the fact that he was relatively comfortable against Man City anyway, and that's not even him at his best, it's exciting. I thought Partey, I think I was a bit harsh on Partey. I don't know if you saw my player ratings. I think a 7 was harsh. I think an 8 or a 9 would have actually been more fair. I criticised him strongly for the mistake he made in the build-up to their goal, and more out of wanting and knowing what we need to beat City over the course of a season, and in games, big games like that against Man City. A mistake like that from Partey, you just can't afford. At 0-0, we played so well. To make a big error like that and dive in on Foden and then get beaten, it's those small things that you just cannot afford to do. Martinelli was poor yesterday. Trossard needs to start ahead of him. I just don't think yesterday was a game for Martinelli. No, you've not really missed anything yet, Ross, just me talking about yesterday. I don't really think yesterday was a game for Martinelli. And as soon as you could see, I said at half-time that I'd bring Trossard on for Martinelli because he just wasn't getting the space. And when he's not getting the space, he is fairly limited in what else he can do. Whereas Trossard offers so much more technically that it was a better suited game for him, I thought. And there will be games like that this season. And I do feel like one thing Arteta maybe needs to do is rotate between Martinelli and Trossard a bit more. For me, Martinelli on the left-hand side is nowhere near as sort of locked down to that position as Saka is on the right. Like any game, you want Saka to start. I think there are games where Trossard could be more suited than Martinelli. And there should be a bit of rotation there because Trossard's earned it. How many more times does Trossard need to score or assist before he starts getting that chance? So that's a big one for Arteta to deal with through the season. Ross says, can we all appreciate Havertz's route is going to help us so much? Well, this is the thing, right? And those of you that have been on this channel for a long time will know that even at the back end of last season, I've been saying it's the profile of striker that we need for certain games. And I pretty much said Man City is one of the only games where having a big number 9 will benefit us because we can escape the press. And it happened a few times yesterday where, Saliba went long to Havertz and he held up the play really well. And there are Chelsea fans that don't think Havertz can do that because at Chelsea he couldn't. The reason he couldn't do it at Chelsea was because he never had any support. The gulf between the midfield and himself was way too big. Whereas at Arsenal, he'll have support around him with Ødegaard, with Martinelli, with Saka. And that build-up play and that hold-up play can be really good. So it was a big game for him. Yes, he missed a couple of chances, and that feeds into this narrative that he's a bad finisher. But all round, I thought it was a very good game for him. I don't expect to see him play down the middle that often. But when it's needed for an option like that, I think it's really good. And it would be interesting to know, had Jesus been fit, would Jesus have played or would Havertz have played? Because Arteta could very easily have played Nketiah through the middle, but he wanted that different profile. He wanted that tall striker. So that was an interesting one. And actually, I thought Eddie Nketiah was good when he came on. I thought Eddie Nketiah's runs, running in behind into those channels, really began to stretch. Them. Rory, I'm a Chelsea fan, but Arsenal are not that good. Man City controlled you from start to finish. Dominated. Also, stop acting like a big club. You are not Liverpool, United, Chelsea or Spurs. Spurs? What a donkey. What an absolute donkey. Aaron with the $10 super chat. Hey Rory, haven't been able to chat because of uni. Just started, but I'll always be lurking. Happy we won yesterday. I care more about beating City than the Shield. Well, first of all, you never need to apologise, but I massively appreciate it. And you're right. I think beating City is more important than lifting the Shield, right? The Shield itself doesn't mean that much. Beating City before the season starts means quite a bit more. And look, people tried to make out that Arteta wildly celebrated it because, Arsenal are a small club or whatever. Pep Guardiola ran off celebrating the City goal as well. So that was a narrative that was just pretty nonsense. But thank you, Aaron, for the $10 super chat. Back. By the way, Matthew, I'm not leaving that alone. You've included Spurs in a big club talk. What? Are you lost? Are you absolutely lost? And also, City did not control it from start to finish. In the first half of the first half, they had quite a lot of possession that they did very little with. Haaland had 0 shots. He had 13 touches all game, and 5 of those were when he was running away from Saliba in a 1v1. They didn't control the game. I don't think they did at all. I think both teams would have been fairly happy with the control that they had in the game. Neither teams created that many clear-cut chances. That's the truth. It took a worldie from Cole Palmer to put them 1-0 up, and it took quite a lucky deflection for us to equalise. So, you're an absolute waffle copter. Parland is Saliba's dog. Well, there we go. Anyway, enough of yesterday. I'll probably talk about I'll talk about yesterday more tomorrow. This is quite a short stream. I've got to jump off at 5:30. I'm back on the top 6 show on the Football Terrace tonight. That's at 6, and I need to eat before them. So we'll be finishing here at 5:30. So I need to get through things. So in the news, Turner and Raya, Fabrizio Romano, Matt Turner will undergo a medical today at Nottingham Forest. Deal agreed on a permanent transfer. Here we go. So we've got the here we go from Fabrizio on Matt Turner. New round of talks scheduled for Dean Henderson. So they are planning on getting Turner and Dean Henderson. And he also says Arsenal are increasingly confident of getting Raya done very soon. Various reports have then said that the deal for Matt Turner is worth 10 million in total, 7 million up front and 3 million in add-ons. And look, overall it's not bad. 10 million quid as a total package for a player that's played, 7 times for Arsenal since moving from the MLS. It's not actually that bad. I know he's the US number 1. I know he has looked good, but there's so much, if we held out for more for Matt Turner, we wouldn't get it. And we'd end up with him for another year, and he'd go for even less next summer. So it's probably the best you're going to get for him. Romano then on YouTube this afternoon said David Raya to Arsenal is imminent. Only the final details need to be worked on. And David Raya himself was at the Arsenal game yesterday. He was at Wembley yesterday. So I think it's fairly certain that he's coming. And then various reports said Arsenal expect to seal David Raya by the end of this week. So that's your Raya and Turner news, all moving along very nicely. Folarin Balogun. Now, Ornstein, Arsenal have rejected a written bid from Monaco for Folarin Balogun. It follows a verbal offer last week following the Arsenal friendly with Monaco. Pursuit is ongoing. Sporting directors have a good relationship. Inter Milan are still keen on the player, but it's unclear if they can afford him. And the problem is, none of these European clubs have got any money, so none of them can afford him. Gazzetta, which is an Italian outlet, then reporting Inter have offered for Balogun 30 million euros with 5 million euros in add-ons and a large percent sell-on clause for Arsenal. Or that's going to arrive this week. That offer will arrive this week. However, Arsenal will only sell to the highest bidder, and RC Lens also want the player. But Balogun wants Inter. And Balogun does want Inter. I don't know if you've been following this. Balogun, I'm not even sure was it with the squad yesterday, but on Instagram over the previous 24 hours over the weekend. First, he put up an Instagram of him watching R9 Ronaldo in an Inter shirt. Now, that was very, you could just say he's watching R9, and the fact he's in an Inter Milan shirt is coincidence. The following day, he posted another Instagram story. By the way, there were no other Instagram stories, so it was literally R9 in an Inter Milan shirt, followed by wishing Marcus Thuram, the Inter Milan striker, a happy birthday. Now, they've never played together. They've never even played in the same league as each other. And it's just very weird. Basically, two Inter Milan strikers on his story in back-to-back days. He's making it very clear what he wants. So he does want Inter Milan, but Arsenal are holding out for the best offers. TF1 reporting French club Lens are interested in signing Balogun. And ultimately, there's just lots of interest in him. And Arsenal are holding firm for 50 million. So it's an interesting one. What we actually need is a Premier League club to come in for him. The truth is we're not going to get 50 million from Europe. It's not going to happen. So we need a West Ham, a Palace, someone like that. And even then, I'm not sure they'd spend 50. But there we go. Rory, I'm a Spurs fan, but we play good attacking football. Have 30-plus shots every game. Have 80% possession. 1-5-1. So we're better than you. Can't wait to beat you soon. What? Right. I don't even know what game you're referring to, because whilst Arsenal are playing in big games at Wembley, I don't even know who you were playing against. So I don't know what is that from the game against the Sailors that you played the other day? I've got no. Honestly, Steve, I've got no idea what you're talking about. But congratulations on your 5-1 win, 80% possession and 30+ shots. Well done. Mohamed Kudus. According to Tim van Duygen, who's a Dutch reporter, Mohamed Kudus to Brighton is in doubt, as Brighton still haven't reached an agreement on personal terms. Ajax are seeking clarity. So basically, Kudus has not agreed personal terms with Brighton. And that may well be because he knows that both Arsenal and Chelsea are interested in him. So personal terms are not agreed, and Ajax may well move on from Brighton if they can't get that sorted quickly. So, if there was a time for Arsenal to jump in, the time would be now. It was against Shakhtar Donetsk. Wow, well done. Well done. Well done on beating Shakhtar Donetsk. Congratulations. Was it at Wembley? Was it at Wembley? No. No, it wasn't. Brighton bottling the transfer? Possibly. So we'll keep an eye on Kudus. And then I wanted to talk about Bradley Barcola, which someone mentioned in the chat last week, and I looked into him a bit more after that, just because someone told me to, basically, and it looked interesting. Now, according to Fabrice Hawkins, who's a French reporter for our RMC Sport, PSG still insist on Bradley Barcola, so he plays for Lyon, for context. PSG really want him. Their latest offer was 30 million euros plus a bonus, but it was refused by Lyon. Discussions between PSG and Lyon are in progress, but Manchester City and another big English club are interested in him too. And that could well be Arsenal. Now, in terms of Barcola himself, if you don't know who he is, 20-year-old forward, like I said, plays for Lyon. He's played 44 times for Lyon, 7 goals and 12 assists. As always, with every Arteta target, versatile. He's played 15 times through the middle, 13 times off the right, and 11 times off the left. So almost the same proportion of times off the left, through the middle, and off the right. He's right-footed, so it wouldn't quite be the sort of Saka replacement that I would be looking for in terms of, I really do think we're better off going for a left footer, but there are so few of them available on the market that Bradley Barcola could be a really good one. And look, it's no surprise that PSG, Man City, they're the teams that are in for him. And it could be one for Arsenal as well, depending on how the rest of the window goes. And an interesting thing on that was that today Ornstein was talking about the potential fee for David Raya. And at the end of what he said once Arsenal have done Raya, they can move on to the next objectives. Now, that could just be sales, that we need to sell more players, but it could be one more potential signing. So it's exciting. It is exciting. Would you like Cole Palmer to Arsenal as a backup for Bukayo Saka? Interesting. I think he's more of a striker. I know he played off the right yesterday. I think long term he's more of a striker. Would I want him? I don't think City would sell him. I don't think City would sell him to us. He looks like a great player though. After that game, what percent likelihood do you give us of winning the league? I'd say 30%. I'd say if I had to give percentages right now, I'd say City 60%, Arsenal 30%, and then probably United, Liverpool like 5% each. And I don't think anyone else is capable of winning the league. Opinions on Palmer getting man of the match? Right. Actually, that brings up a point I wanted to make. So, obviously, I was at the game yesterday. I always like to try and watch the full game back if I can, just because you genuinely get a completely different perspective of the game when you're watching it in the stadium. And when you're surrounded by your fans, everything feels like you get a very biased concept of what's actually happening. So I always like to watch it back. I wish I hadn't watched it back, or I wish I hadn't watched back the ITV coverage, because the ITV commentary was absolutely abysmal. Lee Dixon, I don't know if it's because he's like trying to be unbiased, but he goes so overboard on that, because he's basically an Arsenal hater on commentary. Which was really poor to watch. I don't know why. He also just hasn't got a clue what he's talking about. At one point he said he's not a fan of formations, whatever that means. And I'll tell you now, right, if someone like Eni Aluko said something like, I'm not a fan of formations, that it would be viral. How poor that analysis is. The other thing he said was when Rodri should blatantly have been booked towards the end of the second half, like blatantly should have been booked. He said, yeah, that's probably a yellow in the first half, but not in the second half, which is actually the complete opposite of what normally happens. Like, normally, things don't get penalised in the first half as a booking, and they do in the second half. Like, referees always give out more yellow cards in the second half. So he's just a complete waffle job. I can't even remember what the... Oh, and then he picked Cole Palmer as the man of the match. Cole Palmer, who came on, had what? 20 minutes on the pitch, scored what Lee Dixon thought was going to be the winner, and then wasn't the winner, and he got man of the match for it. So, yeah, absolutely shambolic. But there we go. Aluko said it wasn't a bad pen the other day when... Yeah, she did. I don't want to start hating on Aluko, but yeah, Aluko did say that Megan Rapinoe's absolutely blazed penalty over the bar was a good penalty, but she hit it too well, which it wasn't. It was a terrible penalty. Rodri was class, to be fair. But if Rodri, don't get me wrong, he's the best CDM in the league. I do believe that. But if Rodri got penalised the way other midfielder, if Rodri got penalised the way Casemiro gets penalised, if Rodri got penalised the way Partey gets penalised, if Rodri got... He gets sent off almost every game. The amount of yellow card offences he commits and somehow gets away with is unbelievable. And that's not me being salty or playing the victim, because I'm not just playing the victim to my own club. Casemiro would have been sent off if he'd committed the fouls that Rodri committed yesterday. Bruno Guimaraes would have been sent off. Partey would have been sent off. Like, it's unbelievable. And I don't know how they always get away with it. And people say it's an art, but I don't think it is an art. I think Premier League referees are just, for whatever reason, clouded by some sort of weird judgment on what should and shouldn't be yellow cards. It wouldn't surprise me if they get brown packages. Brown envelope brigade would not surprise me. Who cares about beating City or winning the Shield? It's all about Rambo saving Rodri's penalty. I mean, that was just glorious. After what had happened in that game, that was glorious. Anyway, we've got 6 minutes to go. We need to do Guess the Gooner. So here we go. Fingers on keyboards for today's Guess the Gooner. If you're watching on TikTok and you want to get involved on YouTube, the little Instagram icon on my profile will take you to the YouTube. Get involved in the comments. Fastest finger on your keyboards to spell out the name of today's Guess the Gooner. This is where I give you an ex or current Arsenal player's full career path, minus the Arsenal part of it, and you have to guess who it is. So, this Arsenal player, or ex or current Arsenal player, started at AJ Auxerre. They went to Crystal Palace on loan. They went to Ajax on loan. They went to Charlton on loan. They then went to Toulouse, Huddersfield, and FC Urarta. Who is the player? AJ Auxerre. Crystal Palace on loan, Ajax on loan, Charlton on loan, Toulouse, Huddersfield, FC Urartu. Who is the player? Has anyone got it? Let me scroll back. And William Saliba got it early doors. It was indeed Yaya Sanogo, the second best Yaya to grace the Premier League. And fair play, he got it well before everyone else. Sanogo. Can't even see who got it second. VV Vlad was second. Dan Waite was third. AFC BFC was fourth. And Elijah Bodinets was fifth. Congratulations to everyone that got it correct. But congratulations to William Saliba with the Community Shield, who got that one first. Congratulations. And now on to the Guess the Non-Gooner. This is where I give you a player who has not and does not play for Arsenal. I give you their full career path, and you have to guess who it is. Sway, you say VV Vlad every stream. No, VV Vlad's ability to at least be top 5 is exceptional. You've got to rate him. So here you go. This is your Guess the Non-Gooner. This player started at SC Bastia. They went to Olympic Lyon. They went to Chelsea. They went to Real Madrid on loan. They went to AC Milan. They went to Panathinaikos. They went to Pirasib. And they went to FK Sabale. So Bastia, Lyon, Chelsea, Real Madrid on loan, AC Milan, Panathinaikos, Pirasib, FK Sabale. Who is the player? I don't think anyone's got it yet. In fact. It's not Ronaldo, it's not Benzema, it's not Pires, it's not Drogba, it's not Remy, it's not Makalele. Ross Lawman! There he is. Ross Lawman is back. I think he was trying to spell SCN. He put a same. But it is indeed Michael Essien. Congratulations to Ross Lawman. Lots of people say Makalele. William Saliba was second. Not bad. A first and a second for Saliba today. Eli Pendry was fourth. Adam Markham was fifth. Oh yeah, that's it. No, Eli was third. Adam was fourth. And Elijah Bodinets was fifth. 2 fifth places for Elijah. Congratulations. But there we go. Congratulations. 2 minutes left. Ask me a question. You didn't do the Guess the Gooner voice. I apologise. My ribs are in absolute bits at the moment. I apologise for not doing the Guess the Gooner, the voice as I normally do. I literally don't know half those clubs, let alone the player. There you go. I'm getting really fed up with Flo. As an American, he's matching our arrogant, douchey persona really well. Look, when you compare Balogun and Eddie Nketiah, and Eddie Nketiah, by the way, has done more to deserve a starting place at Arsenal than Balogun has. And when you compare the two of them and their attitude and the way they treat the club, Balogun's just got to go. Like, that is the truth. He's got to go. It's become unacceptable. Scaife deleted his tweet about Ben White. Yeah. Got him. Secret Agent Lacquer, and we just gave Leon AMN, so I think they should help us get Barcola. That would be nice. Although, I don't think we didn't really give them... I know what you're saying, but we didn't give them Maitland-Niles because he was already on a free. But do you think we'll sign one more, or is Raya going to be the last bit of incoming? Honestly, I don't know. I feel like we will sign one more. David Ornstein's language, the way he referred to us, moving on to the next objectives, gives me hope that there's one more. But we will see. Anyway, that is going to be the end of the stream. I massively appreciate you all for tuning in. Please do subscribe if you're not already. Smash a like on the stream, massively helps. And in half an hour, the Football Terrace, I'm going to be on there on their Top 6 show, representing Arsenal, preaching about the English Super Cup. So join in with that if you would like to. Other than that, have a great evening. I'll be back tomorrow. And cheers for watching. Goodbye.